Hi, this is Vickie Gillespie with another video about what you need to know and watch out for when moving to my town, Pahrump. And if this is the first time you're watching the video, I highly recommend you check out my other videos on Pahrump after this one to give you a bigger picture on what it is like living here and why you might want to move here as well. Also, if you stick around to the end of this video, I'm going to share with you one of my favorite reasons to call Pahrump home. So let's jump into the things you need to know. When we talk about water supply, we are not simply talking about the lack of water, but how your water is supplied. That all depends on the land that you live on here in Pahrump. When you're looking for a home, one of the first things you need to know is if the home is on a private well or public water. Your public water, also known as water that is controlled by the town of Pahrump, is pretty straightforward. But if living off a private well is new to you, it can sound intimidating or concerning. For most people on a private well, it simply comes down to making sure the private well is properly inspected and tested prior to purchase. You could also have your water tested yearly to ensure its quality and that it doesn't contain any contaminants. Well water can be hard. It carries a lot of calcium and magnesium, so you probably would like to have a water softener installed. One of the most challenging things in Pahrump when it comes to water supply is if you plan on buying land to build a custom home. If so, in this case, research should be done to determine if you have to purchase water rights and spend a good chunk of money before ever being able to access water on your land. In Pahrump, we have something called poof dirt. This is land that has dirt or soil that is really soft and dusty, and in some parts, you feel like you're sinking in it when you step on it. This type of land is because Pahrump is built on lake terraces, and because of our private water wells, when homes are located above aquifers that get depleted without enough water coming in, this can lead to an issue making homes sink on poof dirt. There are particular areas in Pahrump where homeowners have experienced this, so this is something you need to investigate before purchasing a home here. Most of Pahrump's growth in recent years has come from new construction homes. This includes homes that were built by big box builders, Lennar, Beazer, Taylor Morrison, Richmond American, and more. In these communities, you will find HOAs as well as community clubhouses and resources. Now, while these homes dominate the majority of the new home market here in Pahrump, there are smaller builders that are building on individual lots outside of these communities. Most of these are at the higher price points, but for the home buyer that wants to have something new and that is outside of an HOA, these homes can be a great solution. Pahrump has many manufactured homes, some that are in close-quartered communities and others that sit on large lots. Manufactured homes typically sell for less than your traditional stick-built home, but can offer many of the things you look for in a typical home. One of the major things to look out for when buying a manufactured home, outside of the traditional home inspection, is if the property has been legally converted to real property. This is a requirement for obtaining a traditional loan to secure financing for purchasing the home. Now, this is a subject that not many people want to talk about when purchasing a new home, but it's something that we do need to check for. And it's not things that I normally find around here in Pahrump, but I did have a transaction this year that we did have a home inspection and we did find out that we had rodents and insects in the home. The owner stated that they had no clue that the home had a rat infestation until after it was clear in the home inspection report. This is why it is always important to hire a quality home inspector to inspect your home. And in this case, rats were found in the home, and then after negotiation with the seller, he did handle this issue with a professional pest control company. Now, if you do not have a quality home inspection done, this is something that is missed because these insects and rodents are looking for a cool place to call home in this rural desert town. Speaking of the desert, Pahrump stays sunny about 285 days out of the year. We only average about 4 to 5 inches of rain per year, and while we're not as hot as Las Vegas because of a higher elevation, our average temperature does peak in the high 90s in the month of July. So if you're not used to the heat, it will take a bit of getting used to, but for the most part, you'll learn to stay indoors between sunrise and sunset during the hot months. We like to say it's a dry heat here compared to the humidity in the southern states, so it makes us feel cooler here. While the heat can sometimes be overwhelming, if you're someone that enjoys early mornings or nights outside, it can be quite enjoyable. Now I'd like to share one of the main reasons that I do love Pahrump, and it's because of the small, rural town feeling. Coming recently from Las Vegas and Boulder City, we were used to living in communities where there are homes just a few feet apart and that just felt crowded and noisy. Here in Pahrump, we have a lot more land and space, and even with that, we feel there is more of a community out here. And a great example of this is when a client shared with me a few days ago when she moved into her new home here in Pahrump. She has moved from Las Vegas and she lived in the same home for approximately 20 years and didn't really know her neighbors. And after only being in Pahrump for a couple of days, she had a neighbor come by and drop off a welcoming basket to Pahrump for her. And it was a handmade basket. It had couple bottles of wine, it had wine glasses and candy, and she had even hand embroidered a kitchen towel for her new home, and also wrote her a handwritten note saying, if you ever need anything, don't hesitate to give us a call. It's because of stories like this that my husband and I love calling Pahrump home. So with all this said, I also wanted to touch on some great things about living out here. Firstly, this is a rural town, and that's one of the reasons why my husband and I moved here, as well as other people do. And if I had to guess, I bet that's why you're watching this video. But if you happen to be looking for something a bit more modern, there are several areas like the new construction homes out in Mountain Falls that bring a more modern suburb feel to our area. Also, we are one of the safest areas in the country when it comes to natural disasters. Having personally moved from Alaska and Hawaii, it's nice to know we don't have to deal much with Mother Nature's overwhelming power when it comes to things like rain, snow, tornadoes, and more. Pahrump is also just a 1-hour drive over to the world-famous Las Vegas. It's also a popular option for those that work 100% remotely or do not mind taking the 1-hour trip daily into Vegas. It also makes a great place for retirees and people that like to indulge in Las Vegas but don't want to pay the more expensive Las Vegas home prices. If you want to hear more about the top reasons to move to Pahrump, I highly recommend you watch my other video covering that topic. If you're from out of town and thinking about moving to Pahrump, please reach out to me. My husband and I would love to be your relocation guide. Feel free to call me anytime at 702-419-4394. And this is Vickie Gillespie. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again real soon.